will be brave enough to fight the creatures that you have to fight beneath the bed. It's night to be a grown-up. When I grow up, just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on chin and wear it, nothing will change. When I grow up, just because I find myself in this story, it doesn't mean that everything is written for me. If I think the end is fixed already, I might as well be saying I think that it's okay, and that's not right.
Before we return to our classroom, children, there's something I need to talk to you about. Please sit down. As you may already know, the principal takes over from me one lesson each week. She does that with every class in the school, and each class has a fixed day and a fixed time. Prudence, do you remember our day?
It's Thursday, Miss Honey.
Thank you. And the time, Nigel?
2 o'clock right after lunch, Miss Honey.
Thank you, Nigel. So tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Miss Trunchbull will be taking over from me one lesson. I shall be here as well, of course, but only as a silent witness. Is that understood?
Yes, Miss Honey.
A word of warning to you all, the headmistress deals very strictly about everything. Make sure your faces are clean, your hands are clean. Speak only when spoken to. Never argue with her, never answer her back, because if you do, you will make her angry. And when the Trunchbull gets angry, you had better watch out.
You can say that again.
I'm sure she will be testing you on what you're meant to have learned this week, which is your 2 times tables. I strongly recommend you swat it up when you get home tonight. Ask your mother or father to hear you on it.
What else should you be testing us on, Miss Honey?
Spelling. Try to remember everything that we have learned this last few weeks. Oh, and one more thing. A jug of water and a clean, empty glass must always be on the table when the headmistress comes in. She never takes a lesson without it. Now, who will be responsible for seeing that it's there?
I will, Miss Honey.
Very well, Lavender. It will be your job to go to the kitchen, take a jug, fill it with water, and put it on the table with a clean, empty glass just before the lesson starts.
But what if the jug's not in the kitchen?
There are a dozen headmistresses' jugs in the kitchen, Lavender. They're used all over the school. So don't worry and don't forget.
I won't forget, Miss Honey. I promise I won't.
I know you won't forget, Lavender. Now please, let's hurry to our classroom. I have a funny surprise waiting for you.
Yay!
Lavender's scheming mind went over the possibility of the water jug job has been handed to her. She admired Hortensia and a daring deed she'd done at school. She also admired Matilda, which she sworn under the secrecy never to tell of the oil bleach hair dye that dyed her father's hair. Now it was her turn to become a heroine, only if she could think of a brilliant plan. So that evening, she approached a pond where a colony of newts lived. She liked newts. Many people mistaken them as baby crocodiles. So she laid there for a very long time until she spotted a whopper, and using her hand, she quickly scooped it up and placed it carefully inside her pencil box.
No, it's not.
She was quite ready to go to school tomorrow.
It's on.
She longed to tell Matilda of her plan of battle. But anyone, even put under the most severe torture, cannot name her as culprit.
Young lady, where were you?
The transport kept us late again.
That's the biggest lie I ever heard. You see those packages over there? They're left outside for a road to see because you weren't there.
Oh, Harry, you get all this stuff from catalogs and I don't get anything.
It's not catalog, it's car parts, it's business.
Oh, if it's business, then why don't you get it sent to the office?
Because the cops may be watching the office.
The cops are watching the house.
What?
They're parked outside right now.
Oh, you are such an idiot. Those aren't cops. They're speedboat salesmen. Really nice guys.
Cops.
Speedboats? There are no lakes around here.
Some people, Harry, like to go out on weekends. Some people have fun.
And some people are cops.
They are not cops.
Are too.
There are no cops watching my house, you lying little idiot. Right now, sit down and look at the TV. Do you think you're smarter than me? I watch TV all the time, that's why I'm smarter than you. Everybody in this room is smarter than you. Read these disgusting little books, and I'm pretty sure one day you'll end up in the hospital with tons of verrucas on your brain.
Not to mention that you will eventually be blind. Ha! An ugly, blind little girl.
Mister.
What?
Up there.
I'm sorry, honey. Gotta go.
Arndis family? Hello, Arndis family? TV time is fan time. What is this trash you're reading again?
It is not trash, Daddy. It's called The Red Pony by John Steinbeck. He's an American writer. You will love it.
Red what? This is film.
No, Daddy, it's beautiful. Honestly, it is.
I do not want to know what it's about. Give me that.
Stop it, Daddy. Stop it. It's not mine. It's the library's book. I have to return it as soon as it's found.
You have to save money, then you have to save your pocket money, won't you? You have to save your pocket money until there's enough in the kitty to buy another book for precious Mrs. Phelps, won't you? You're a woman and start acting like one. Now look up and look at the TV.
Around here during the winter. But a little weatherization can make your home feel like the beach in Barbados. That means adding insulation, caulking windows, and weather stripping doors. We even offer cash incentives at bwattsmart.com. Pretty soon, your home will feel like a tropical paradise.
Have you ever wondered what I have about how when I say red? For example, there's no way of knowing if red means something in your head as red means in my head when someone says red. And how if you're traveling at almost the speed of light and we're holding a light, that light will still travel away from us at the speed of light, to ride in a way what I'm trying to say. I'm sure, but I'm wondering inside my head, I'm just a bit different from some of my friends. These answers that come into my mind unbidden, these stories delivered to me fully written. And when everyone shouts, I seem to like shouting. The noise in my head is incredibly loud. I wish they would stop. My dad and my mom and the telly and stores would stop just for once. I'm sorry, I'm not quite explaining it right, but this noise gone anger, the anger is life, and it's burning inside me will usually fade. But this is in today, and the heat and the shouting, and my heart is pounding, and my eyes are burning, and suddenly everything is quiet, like silence, but not really silent. Just that nice kind of quiet, like the sound when you lie upside down in your bed. Just the sound of your heart in your head. And though the people around me, their mouths are still moving, the words they are forming cannot reach me anymore. And it is quiet, and I am warm, like I've sailed into the eye of the storm.
Matilda, this is so sad.
Slowly, very slowly, the acrobat wound her shiny white scarf around her husband's neck.
And so, they prepared for the most dangerous feat they've ever performed. The escapologist has to escape from the safe, reach out, catch his wife before the flame reaches the dynamite in her hair and blows his wife's head off.
Sorry, Matilda, go on.
The trick started well. 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. Suddenly, the huge padlock and chains pinged open. 9 seconds, 10 seconds, and they reached out for each other. And she fell.
Was she okay? Did she survive?
She broke every bone in her body except for the ones at the top of her little fingers. She managed to live long enough to have the child. The doctor said it was an absolute miracle. She managed to hold on, but the effort was too great. And then she died. And things got worse.
What? Worse? Oh no, Matilda, not worse. They can't get worse.
I'm afraid it did because so kind was the escapologist that he had never blamed the acrobat sister for what had happened.
And so, the little girl lived with the meanest, cruelest, most horrible aunt you may ever imagine.
That was horrible.
Okay, children, Miss Trunchbull is coming, and I have to warn you, she's not in a good mood today. Not at all. Something happened with her car, it broke down, and she had to walk all the way to school. Cover away anything colorful. And for the last time, don't speak unless you're spoken to, don't laugh, don't smile, don't even breathe loudly. As a matter of fact, don't breathe at all. Good afternoon, Miss Trunchbull.
Good afternoon, Miss Trunchbull.
Sit! Not a very pretty sight. What a bunch of nauseating little warts you are. It makes me vomit to think that I have to put up with a load of garbage like you for the next 6 years. I can see that I'm going to expel as many of you as possible. Your mothers and fathers tell you you're wonderful. Well, here I am to tell you the exact opposite, and you'd better believe me. Stand up, everybody. Now, as I walk past you, I want you to put out your hands in front of you and flip them over so I can see if they are clean on both sides. Ooh. What's your name?
Nigel.
Nigel what?
Nigel Hicks.
Nigel Hicks what?
That's it, unless you want my middle name as well.
I do not want your middle name, you blister what is mine.
Miss Trunchbull.
Use it when you address me. Now then, let's try again. What's your name?
Nigel Hicks, Miss Trunchbull.
That's better, Nigel. Your hands are filthy. When did you last wash them?
It could be yesterday or the day before.
I knew it! I knew it as soon as I saw you that you were nothing but a piece of filth. What's your father's job, a sewage worker?
He's a doctor and a jolly good one. He says we're all covered with bugs and extra bit of dirt doesn't even hurt.
Well, I'm glad he's not my doctor. And why? May I ask, is there a big bean in the front of his shirt?
Baked beans are hard to eat, Miss Trunchbull. They keep on falling off my fork.
You're disgusting. You're a walking germ factory. I do not wish to see any more of you today. Go and stand in that corner with your face to the wall and one leg up.
But Miss Trunchbull...
Don't argue with me, boy. I'll make you stand on your head. Just do it. Sit. You.
Yes, Miss Trunchbull.
Can you spell?
Yes, Miss Trunchbull.
Spell right.
Which one? The one you do with the pen or the one that means opposite wrong?
The one that you do with the pen, you little fool.
W-R-I-T-E.
You.
Miss Honey taught us how to spell a new very long word yesterday.
And what word was that?
Difficulty.
You can't spell difficulty. That's nonsense. You're not supposed to learn how to spell big, long words like difficulty unless you're at least 8 or 9. And don't try to tell me that the whole class here can spell the word difficulty. You are lying to me.
She's lying, Miss Trunchbull.
What?
Miss Honey taught how to spell this big long word yesterday in 3 minutes. She taught how to spell a dog word in 3 minutes.
And what exactly is this magical method Miss Honey uses?
She teaches us with a poem.
A poem? How sweet. What poem would that be?
Mrs. D, Mrs. I, Mrs. F, F, I.
Mrs. C, Mrs. U, Mrs. L, T, Y.
This is ridiculous. Why are all these women married? And anyway, Miss Honey, you're not meant to teach poetry. You're meant to teach spelling. Cut that out in the future.
But it does teach him some of the harder words wonderfully well.
Don't argue with me, Miss Honey. Just do as you're told. Now, I shall test the class on their multiplication tables to see if Miss Honey here has taught you anything at all in that direction. You.
Yes, Miss Trunchbull.
What is 2 5?
10, Miss Trunchbull.
You with the leg up and the father who should be digging graves for his patients. Put your foot down. Why do small people have to be so disgusting? They do it deliberately just to annoy me. What is 2 7s?
2 7s are 16. 2 7s are 18. 2 7s are 18.
You ignorant little twit. You witless weed. You empty-headed hamster. That is wrong.
No, headmistress, please let him go. He's really stressed. I can see clearly now.
Oh, really? He is stressed. Now then, let's see if we can try to get the answer out of him in a different way. Say 2 7s are 14 and I'll let you go. Get on with it, boy. Say 2 7s are 14 and I'll let you go.
2 7s are 14. 2 7s are 14.
Get out and stop with her. I do not like small people. Small people should never be seen or heard by anybody. They should be kept in little boxes like hairpins and buttons.
Miss Trunchbull, but you sure was a small person once before, weren't you?
I was never a small person. I've been large all my life, and I can't see why the others can't do the same.
But you have started off as a baby, Miss Trunchbull.
Me? A baby? How dare such a thing? What infernal insolence! What's your name, boy? And stand up when you speak to me.
My name is Aaron Ink, Miss Trunchbull.
Oh, don't be an ass, boy. There's no such name as Ink.
Check in the phone book. You'll see my father's name under ink.
Very well then, Ink.
I'll very soon rub you out if you try getting smart on me. Small children. They're the bane of my life. We get rid of flies by hanging up fly paper and by using fly spray. I have often thought of inventing a gigantic spray gun that prevents children. How splendid it would be to just walk into the room and start pumping. Wouldn't that be a good idea, Miss Honey?
If it's meant to be a joke, I don't think it's a really funny one.
You wouldn't, would you? One of these days, I shall start up a school with no children in it at all. I think it would be very successful. What's so funny, huh? Well, spit it out. I like a joke as well as the next fat person. It's a snake! It's a baby crocodile! One of you tried to poison me! Who? Little Wormwood. I knew it.
I'm just telling that it's not a snake, it's a newt.
What?
It's a newt, Miss Trunchbull.
Stand up, you disgusting little cockroach! You did this!
No, Miss Trunchbull, I didn't do it.
Even if you haven't done it, Matilda, I'm gonna punish you. Because I'm big and you're small and I'm right and you're wrong and there's nothing you can do about it. Now sit down and don't say a word.
No, Miss Trunchbull, I won't sit down. I believe you're the worst bully I've ever seen in my life. I believe you are to terrorize all of us, small children, and I believe that even if you have a school with no children, you wouldn't like it because there would be no one for you to torture.
How dare you? You are not fit for this school, madam. You ought to be in prison. In the deepest, darkest, dankest prison. I shall have you wheeled out, strapped to a trolley with a muzzle over your mouth. I shall have you strapped to an experiment table and perform experiments on you. I shall feed you to the termites, and then I shall squash those termites into tiny fragments. And those tiny fragments, I will squash it into dust. And those dust, I will feed it to the bloodworms. And the bloodworms I shall feed to birds, and the birds I shall release into the air, and then shoot them down with my 12-bar shotgun. And so on, and so on. Ad infinitum, madam. Ad infinitum. Are you listening? Are you listening, madam?
Quiet. Like silence, but not really silent. Just that nice kind of quiet. Like the sound when you lie upside down in your bed. Just the sound of your heart in your head. And though the people around me, their mouths are still moving, the words they are forming cannot reach me anymore. And it is quiet, and I am warm, like I've said, into the eye of the storm.
You're the most corrupt lowlife in human history. Am I wrong? I have never, in this classroom, in this school, I am God!
Say plastic!
Get off me! Stand up, you disgusting little cockroach! You did this!
I didn't move.
Nobody moved. None of the children did. Miss Transfer can vouch for it that nobody has moved from his or her desk all the time you've been here, except the children that you moved. You must have knocked it out by an accident. That sort of thing is very easy to do.
I'm fed up with you bunch of useless midgets. I refuse to waste any more of my precious time in here. But I'll be watching each and every one. When you skip merrily to your little cubbies to get your smelly little coats, when you skip merrily to lunch, I'll be watching each and every one. Especially you.
I think we've had enough school for one day, don't you? The class is dismissed. You may all go to the playground and wait for your parents to come and take you home. I will clean up this mess and I'll be outside in a couple of minutes. Bye, Miss Honey. Goodbye.
Bye, Miss Honey.
Bye. Bye, Miss Honey. Bye, Nigel. Goodbye, Prudence.
She can really dance, can't she? Bye, Miss Honey.
See you tomorrow, Lavender.
Miss Honey, may I talk to you for a moment?
Of course you may.
Something happened to me. Something very peculiar.
What happened to you, Matilda?
Miss Trunchbull isn't going to expel me, is she? Because it wasn't me who put that slimy little creature in the jug of water. I promise you it wasn't.
I know it wasn't you, Matilda, who did it. And don't worry, Miss Trunchbull is not going to expel you. She just got a little overexcited, that's all.
But there is something I did today, Miss Honey. I made the glass tip over.
Oh, no, you did not do that, Matilda. I was standing there right next to you all the time. You did not move at all.
But that is what I want to talk to you about.
I don't think I quite follow.
I got so angry at being accused of something that I made it happen. I made the glass tip over. I did it with my eyes.
You mean you were sitting over there? You told the glass to topple over, and it did? Could you do it again?
I don't know, but I might be able to.
Do I need to put water in it?
I don't think it matters.
Okay, then go ahead. Take all the time you want. Make the glass tip over.
Tip it over.
Matilda! I can't believe it. I just simply can't believe it. Matilda, would you like to come with me and have tea at my cottage?
That will be wonderful.
Great, gather up your things and I'll meet you outside in a couple of minutes.
You won't tell anyone that I did, will you, Miss Honey?
I wouldn't dream of it.
I think I could move almost anything in the world, not just tipping over glasses and small things. I feel like I could push people while sitting in the
Calm yourself down, Matilda. Let us not get ourselves too worked up so early in proceedings.
But you do think that it is interesting, don't you, Miss Honey?
Oh, I do think it's interesting, all right. But we must be very careful now.
Why?
Because we're dealing with something that we know nothing about. I don't say it's evil. It may be good. It may even be divine. We are dealing with an unexplainable thing. The right word for it is a phenomenon.
Am I a phenomenon?
It is quite possible that you are a phenomenon, Matilda. But what I thought we might do now is to explore this phenomenon, just the two of us, very carefully, all the time. Matilda, you're a precocious child.
What exactly does this word mean, Miss Honey?
A precocious child, Matilda, is one that shows amazing intelligence early on. You must be aware of that. Look at your reading, look at your mathematics. I can't help wondering whether this great ability of yours to be able to move people without touching them, whether it comes from your amazing intelligence.
Do you think this power could hurt me?
It made you feel pretty peculiar, didn't it?
It made me feel lovely.
That's excellent, Matilda. Excellent. This way.
You mean you live down here? You mean you live in a forest?
I do. It's just a small cottage. Please don't expect too much of it. Here we are. Come along, my dear.
me dry when the rain falls. This door helps to keep the cold at bay. On this floor I can stand on my own 2 feet. On this chair I can write my lessons. On this pillow I can dream my nights away. And this table, as you can see, well, it's perfect for tea. It isn't much, but it is enough for me. On these walls I hang wonderful pictures. Through this window I can watch the seasons change. By this lamp I can read, and I am set free. And when it's cold outside I feel no fear. Even the winter storms I am warmed by a small but stubborn fire. And there is nowhere I would rather be. It isn't much, but it is enough for me. For this is my house. This is my house. It isn't much, but it is enough for me. For this is my house. This is my house. It isn't much, but it is enough. And when it's cold and bleak, I feel no fear. Even the fiercest storms, I am warmed by the small and stubborn fire. Even when outside it's freezing, I don't pay much heed. I know that everything I need is in here. It isn't much, but it is enough for me. It isn't much, but it is enough for me.
Are you poor, Miss Honey? Yes, Matilda, very poor. But I have just what we need for a nice cup of tea. Please sit down as I boil the water. Oh, Matilda, how do you like your tea? Please, don't tell me you're taking it sweet. I'm afraid I don't have any sugar.
That's okay, Miss Honey. I don't really mind.
I have some bread for you, too. 2 slices. You know, I never eat anything when I get home. I have a good old tucking at the school lunch, and that keeps me going until next morning.
Miss Honey, do they behave very badly at school?
Not that badly. I get about the same as all the other teachers.
But that still must be very badly if you're so dreadfully poor. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Honey. I shouldn't have asked.
Matilda, my dear, you're so much wiser than your years. Although you look like a child, you're not really a child at all because your mind and powers are fully grown up.
I'd love to try something very huge.
What about distance?
Distance? It would be fun to try.
Well, yes, but we must not hurry this. And Matilda, do eat as much bread as you want. You must be hungry. Here, have some more tea. May I tell you a story?
Of course.
I was born in this village. My father was a doctor, and we had a nice old house, quite large, with beautiful red bricks. My mother died when I was 2. My father, a busy doctor, had to have somebody to run the house and to look after me. So he invited my mother's unmarried sister, my aunt, to come and live with us. My Aunt Matilda was not a kind person. My father, of course, didn't know that because he was hardly ever around, and when he was, my aunt behaved differently. I can't think why I'm telling you all this.
Go on, please.
Well, my father died very suddenly. One day he was there, the next day he was gone. So I was left alone with my aunt. She became my legal guardian, and in some way or another, she became the actual owner of the house.
How did your father die?
Interesting that you ask. I myself was too young to question it back then, but I found out later there was a great deal of mystery surrounding his death.
Didn't they know how he died?
Well, they said he killed himself, but I never believed it. My father was a sane and sensible man.
I know what you're thinking of, Miss Honey. You thought that the aunt killed him and made it look as though he killed himself. Right, Miss Honey?
Matilda, my dear, one must never think things like this without any proof.
Was the aunt nasty after your father died?
Nice? She was a demon as she became a holy terror. My life was a nightmare.
That awful aunt. I suppose she's still living in your old lovely house.
Very much so. My father's will was never found. It looks as if somebody destroyed it.
No prizes for guessing who she is, Miss Honey. But if the will was never found, Miss Honey, the house goes automatically to you. You're the next of the king.
I know I am, Matilda, but my aunt produced a fake paper supposedly written by my father, saying that he leaves the house and all his money to his sister-in-law for her kindness in looking after me.
That is ridiculous. Who believed her?
My Aunt Matilda has a lot of influence in this community. She's a much respected figure.
Who is she?
She is Miss Trunchbull.
Miss Trunchbull? You mean she's your aunt? She brought you up?
Yes.
No wonder you're so terrified, Miss Honey. I need to go home and think.
Think?
Yes, I've got a tiny little bit of idea.
Idea for what? Matilda, you need to stop thinking about what I told you tonight.
I promise, Miss Honey, but I would like to ask you 3 last questions before we start talking about this. Will you answer them, please?
Well, that depends on the questions.
The first thing is, what did your father call Miss Trunchbull when they were among the house at home?
He called her Agatha. That is her first name.
And what did Miss Trunchbull call your father?
She called him Magnus.
And the last thing is, what did your father call you? Does he have a special name for you?
He called me Bumblebee.
Thank you, and now I won't mention to talk any more about this.
Don't do anything silly.
I won't. Bye, Miss Honey. Thank you so much for the tea. Escobar's daughter cried herself to bed, and the evil aunt, who, like all bullies, liked to see people smaller or miser than her, became worse and worse and worse. The Escobar's knew nothing about it because the little would add to her father's pain, and that only encouraged her cruelties until one day she exploded.
You are a useless, filthy, nasty little creep.
And she beat her and threw her into a dark, danky cellar. On that day, the escapologist happened to come home early, and when he heard the sound of his daughter's cheers, he bust down the door.
Don't cry. Girl, please don't cry, dry your eyes, wipe away your tears, little girl. Forgive me, I didn't mean to desert you. Cry, little girl, nothing can hurt you, you've nothing to fear. I'm here.
Have I
I been so wrapped up in my grief for my wife that I have forgotten the one thing that mattered to us most? I love you so much, my daughter. I shall spend the rest of my life making it up to you. We shall be together. Don't cry, Daddy. I'm alright, Daddy. Please don't cry. Dry your eyes. Let me wipe away your tears. Daddy, forgive me. I didn't want to upset you. Please, Daddy, don't cry. I'll be alright with you by my side. I've nothing to fear. You're here. I'm by your side. That demon, that villain, that monster, she has sullied the memory of my wife. She has betrayed the trust of her own sister. She has shown cruelty to the most precious reality of my marriage. Bullying children is her game, is it? Then let us see what this creature thinks she can do when the wrath of a grown man stands before her.
But that was the last time the little girl saw her father, because he never came home. Ever. Again.
Attention! I am glad to see there are no more slimy creatures in my drinking water this time. If there had been, something exceptionally unpleasant would have happened to each and every one of you, and that includes you, Miss Honey. Very well, today we have a special visit session. The school of late has started reeking. Quiet, maggots, when I'm speaking. Reeking with the most disturbing scent. Only the finest nostrils smell it, but I know it oh too well. It is the odor of rebellion. It's the bouquet of dissent. And you may bet your britches this headmistress finds this foul odorousness wholly olfactorily insulting. So to stop the stenches spread, I find the session of phys ed sorts the merely rank from the revolting. The smell of rebellion comes out in the sweat, and phys ed will get you sweating, and it won't be long before I smell the pong of aiding and abetting. A bit of phys ed will tell us who has a head full of rebellious thoughts. Hold, just like a rotten egg floats to the top of a bucket of water. The smell of rebellion.
1, 2, 3,
The
4.
reek of insubordination.
I can't take it anymore. 1,
The
2,
puff of the
3,
scent. The
4.
fuck of mutiny in action.
That's not right.
For a weed becomes too big and greedy, you really need to nip it in the bud. Position 2. Before the worm starts to turn, you must scrape off the dirt and rip it from the mud. The whiff of insertion,
1,
the
2,
stench of intent,
3,
the
4.
reek of pre-pubescent protest.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Of anarchy and progress.
I can't take it anymore.
Once we've exercised these demons, they shall be too poop for dreaming. Some double time discipline should stop the rot from setting in. Right, let's step it up. Double time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Discipline, discipline for children who aren't listening, for midgets who are fidgeting and whispering in history. They're chattering and chittering, they're nattering and twittering, tempered with a smattering of discipline. We must begin insisting on rigidity and discipline, persistently resisting this anarchistic mischieving. These minutes you are fittering on pandering and pitying, while little ones like the stages when discipline. The simpering and whimpering, the dribbling and the spilling, the miss I need a tissue is an issue we can fix. There is no mystery to mastering the art of crassal mysticing. It's discipline. Discipline, discipline, the smell of rebellion, the stench of revolt, the reek of prepubescent plotting, the whiff of resistance, the pung of dissent, the funk of moral fiber rotting. Imagine a world with no children. Close your eyes and just dream. Imagine, come on, try it. The peace and the quiet, a babbling stream. Now imagine the woods with a cottage. And inside that cottage we find a dwarf called Zeke, a carnival freak who can fold paper hats with his mind. And he says, don't let them steal your horses. No, don't let them throw them away. No, if you find your way through, they'll be waiting for you, singing. She's mad! And there, just like I said, the stinking maggot rears his head. Even the squiddiest, piteous mess can harbor seeds of stinkiness. Have you ever smelled anything worse than that smell of rebellion? The stench of revolt, the reek of insubordination, the whiff of resistance, the pung of dissent. And I will not stop till you are squashed, till glorious sweaty discipline has washed this sickening scent away. That was nice. Miss Honey, please prepare your students for their regular inspection lesson. Today we will work here. I'll be back in a minute.
Please carry the desk and chairs and put them in your usual line order as we do it in our class. Quietly.
Here, I'll
You
give
may
it back.
ask for help from the older students. The headmistress will check on this, I'm sure. Oh, and you, Nigel, please, try not to be a smart aleck with her today. You were really quite cheeky to her last week.
But I hate her.
Try not to make it so obvious. It doesn't pay. She's a really strong woman.
If I was a girl, I'll knock her flat.
I doubt you would. Nobody has ever gotten the better of her yet.
What will she be testing us on, Miss Honey?
Almost certainly the 3 times tables. Now go and sit, Amanda. I have to think.
Miss Honey, I did practice, as I promised you, and I'm ready now.
Ready for what, my dear?
Wow, magic!
Well, now let's see how badly Miss Honey has taught you the 3 times tables. Stand up and recite the 3 times tables backwards.
Backwards? But I haven't learned it backwards.
There you are. Miss Honey here has taught you nothing. To the chokey.
Trunchbull?
Answer me this. I have 7 apples, 7 bananas, and 7 oranges. How many pieces of fruit do I have altogether?
That's adding up. That's not the 3 times table.
Oh, yes, it is the 3 times tables. To the chokey. You!
Yes, Miss Trunchbull.
Spell to me the word apple backwards.
Backwards? A-E-L-P-E.
That is wrong. To the
That's
chokey.
not right, headmistress. The whole point of life is to go forwards. I venture to ask whether even you, for example, could spell a simple word like wrong. I very much doubt you would.
I've broken your hand once and I can do it again, Jenny.
I'm not 7 years old anymore on Trunchbull.
Shut your holes.
Look, the chalk.
No, it can't be. It can't be, Magnus.
Miss Trunchbull is out! Everybody, Miss Trunchbull is out! We don't want you, Hennimer! Leave immediately! Run! 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 Run!
Never again will she get the best of me. Never again will she take away my freedom. And we won't forget the day we fought. Never again will the choking doorstep. Never again will I be bullied. Never again will I play with my arms and I will go. Never again will I leave my house until we are revolting children living in revolting times. We sing revolting songs, you sing revolting rhymes, revolting, revolting children till our revolting time, and we'll have times revolting, we're revolting. We are revolting children living in revolting times. We sing revolting songs, you sing revolting rhymes, revolting, revolting children till our revolting time, and we'll have times revolting, we're revolting.
We will become a screaming horde. Take out your hockey stick and use it as a sword. Never again will we be ignored. We'll find out where each other store and draw rude pictures on the board. It's not insulting.
We're revolting! We can't see how we like. No more road is right. More than all rewind. We're revolting. It's another line. This way at the same time. There's nothing Trunchbull can do. ACT2 is different. Push us too far. R-E-V-O-L-T-I-N.
Come on!
We're S-I-N-G, U-S-I-N-G, O-V-R-E-V-O-L-T-I-N-G. It is too late for you, we are revolting. We are revolting children living in revolting times. We sing revolting songs, you sing revolting rhymes. We'll be revolting children till our revolting time, and we'll have times revolting. We're revolting children living in revolting times. We sing revolting songs, you sing revolting rhymes. We'll be revolting children till our revolting time, and we'll have times revolting. We're revolting.
So this is how it happened, Mrs. Phelps.
Mr. Tribley, the deputy head, went into his house. All his furniture was still in place, but there were no signs of clothes or shoes
Or no sign of Miss Cruncher at all.
So she left,
Forever.
and the house?
Returned to its rightful owner. I received a letter from the firm informing me that the last will and testament of my late father had mysteriously and finally showed up. The will also showed that my father's lifetime savings were still fortunately safe in the bank and also left to me.
Finally, a great ending.
Yeah.
Come on, hurry up.
What's this?
Hey, you come on. Michael's waiting in the car.
What's going on?
We're off. We're leaving for the airport.
Off?
Where?
To Spain. It's better climate than this lousy country.
Spain? I don't want to go to Spain. I love it here. I love my school.
Now you come with us, Melinda.
Matilda!
Whatever.
I don't want to come with you. Please adopt me, Miss Honey.
I don't have time for this.
1 second again. The library. We have an adoption paper. Just wait a minute.
Are you hearing this, Harry?
The chance to be an only child again?
All you have to do is to sign them.
Say yes, Daddy, please.
What do you think, Pumpkin?
You were the only daughter I ever had, and I never understood you. Who's got a pen?
You won't be calling us for support payments.
No, we have everything we need.
something really, really special. We have the grandmother of our main role. She has birthday today, so we decided to prepare a small surprise for her. So